Welcome back to Nortman Reviews, everyone. I'm John, and I'm in a different place in my life.
Good one.
I'm with my buddy Cody.
What's up?
Yep. Say hi. Oh,
I'm Cody.
Yep. We're doing this thing. Cody's not a comic book fan.
I'm kind of like
He's not a comic book fan.
yeah. I'm a comic book admirer from afar.
Oh yeah. But Cody doesn't read comic books ever really, and I just thought it'd be fun to go over these with someone who doesn't read comic books and explain things to someone who's like, why do they do it like this? Or why this is weird. I'm like, yes, it is weird. So we'll see how it goes. So the first, Cody was you like the Hulk, right?
Well, I've always liked the Hulk.
Yeah.
Ever since the Lou Ferrigno.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I never really watched that show.
I watched that growing up all the time, and I love the transformation.
Yeah.
Whenever you get angry and he just like Hulk out, it reminded me of me.
Huh. Did you know they did like direct to TV movies also? So in one of them, Daredevil was in one, and in one, Thor was in one.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, I think I've seen an episode where Thor was in it.
Yeah, it was a movie. I don't know how long it was. I don't know where you can watch it. I don't know if it's on Disney Plus.
It was a movie and it wasn't an episode?
No, it was like they did the series, and then they did a few like direct TV movies. They did at least 3. I want to say 4, but they did one where it was like the trial of the Incredible Hulk, where Matt Murdock, Daredevil, was his lawyer. So he was in that one. Then I forget what the next one was called, but that one was with Thor. And they had one that was the death of the Incredible Hulk, where he died by falling out of a helicopter or something. Really stupid.
That is stupid.
I don't know if they had one before that or not, but that was kind of like the finale.
And this is the original...
That was the Lou Ferrigno one.
Lou Ferrigno one in the 70s?
Yeah. Was it just the 70s? Were they ever good?
I thought it was maybe early 80s.
Yeah.
Because I was watching reruns.
Yeah, and I was watching those, like, so, I mean, I was born in 82, so...
81.
Yeah, they had to be in the 80s also. Anyways, we're not talking about Lou Ferrigno. We're talking about World War Hulk. So I thought about some comics that Cody might like. I have some others that I think would be fun for you to look at.
This is where I thought the movie in the Marvel... what's it called?
The MCU? The Marvel Universe?
Yeah, like... yeah, I thought this is where the Hulk character was going to go, but then it didn't go that way.
It could still. Who knows? I don't know what they're doing with him at this point.
He's like this science smart guy.
Professor Hulk, which
Hulk.
They did do in the comics. Like they made him so he merged everything. So he was more. He had his like intellect, but he was still the Hulk. But he wasn't like nerdy. Like that's kind of like nerdy Hulk. Like this was like the Hulk was still kind of like an asshole kind of a guy. We'll look at some of those at some point. But anyways,
he seemed kind of smaller too.
He did seem smaller.
Like that part.
He seemed smaller. He seemed less like strong.
Yeah.
And because of that, people are all about like lately. They talk about the Incredible Hulk movie, like with Edward Norton. I'm like, that's the best version. I'm like, that was cool, but I still think
I did like that one.
That wasn't bad. But I still think the one from the Avengers, like the first 2 Avengers movies,
that one was great.
Those were probably the best ones. Anyways, I'm not talking about movies or TV shows.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about this fucking comic. So, World War Hulk. So, for those who don't know, Hulk got blasted into space by some of the Marvel heroes. Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, and Black Bolt, right? Because he was just too much of a threat. And so, they thought they were sending him to, like, this tame planet where he could just live out his life in peace and, like, hunt and just be alone. But for whatever reason, the spaceship they put him on went somewhere else where he became a slave. He was put in a gladiatorial style combat with some of these other people, and he had to fight for his survival. It was this big, like, year-long storyline. And eventually he overthrew that empire. He met someone, this woman who he married, like it was his love, and they were married and everything, and he was happy. But at the end of that, the spaceship that he was sent off in exploded and killed everybody, including the person he loved. So he came back in the last issue fucking pissed off. because he's blaming those 4 guys, right? He's like, you sent me here, you caused this to happen, you put this bomb. He thinks that they're responsible. So he's
pissed off at them now.
He's coming back to like just punish them.
Yeah.
So in the last issue, like, he beat the fuck out of Black Bolt, who's incredibly powerful. Like, he just like whispers something and just decimates an area. And he did that to Hulk, and it barely even fazed him. So he beat the fuck out of Black Bolt. He announced himself to the world, the heroes of the world, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four. They're all like mobilizing. They're getting ready to fight him, to be prepared. Iron Man had a big fight with him in his Hulkbuster armor, like he did in the second Avengers movie. But the Hulk is just too strong. The angrier he gets, the stronger he gets, right? And he's fucking pissed off. So he's now referred to at this point as the World Breaker.
Yes. World
Breaker Hulk. So he is just immensely strong. So that's where
what I'm excited for.
Yeah.
World Breaker Hulk.
World Breaker Hulk. All right, so here we go. I don't know. So I like to always recognize some of the credits. The writer, Greg Pak, John Romita Jr. He's been a long time artist in Marvel. I don't know if he's done DC, but he's been around for a long time. He has a style that a lot of people don't like because it's simplified, but he can tell a story. So in this point, there's 2 different factions of Avengers. There's kind of like the main Avengers who's with Iron Man. They're all like being with the government. And then there's an outlaw version. There's like Iron Fist. This is Hawkeye in this Ronin version.
Is this Iron Fist?
This is Iron Fist.
Okay.
He had his own Netflix show, and they're with Doctor Strange here. And they're just kind of talking about what they need to do, what's going on. Like, shit, this sucks. What do we need to do? And Doctor Strange, he says he has a way to maybe reach the Hulk and stop all this from getting worse. Okay. Because he's saying, I'm searching for a hero, the only one who can defeat and redeem the Hulk in the same instant, but my spell will only work if he lets me in. But he hates us so much. So it's just like he's talking about that, and Hulk is just hulking out wherever he's at. They're in 2 different spaces.
Oh, okay.
I know, it's hard to understand, like, what's going on here? It jumped from one scene to another scene. So Hulk is hulking out, and here's some of the Avengers. There's Luke Cage, Spider-Man. There's Captain Marvel in her old outfit. A few other guys you don't know. Ares is the god of war, Ares.
Oh, like in Kratos.
Yeah.
God of War.
God of War, yeah. That's him. He's there. Like Thor is an actual like mythology.
I didn't know they had Ares in this.
Yeah, like all like the Greek gods and the Norse gods, like those are real mythological characters, right? And Marvel is just able to create their own versions. So yeah, all the Greek gods. So Ares is in this. He's kind of a combination of Thor and Wolverine, someone who will like be violent and kill, but has the power of a god. So the Avengers, so these are guys that Hulk met up with, right, on the planet, and they're called as Warbound, and they named him. This guy, hero him, Korg. Korg was in those Thor movies. He had that fucking, he's that rock guy. You saw those?
This is Korg?
This guy right here.
Oh, this guy. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Who's this?
It's just some random guy. He was never in the movies. None of these guys. Meek, he was in the movies, but he was just this like little bug in that.
And this guy was so polite in the movie.
Yeah, this guy.
Very polite guy.
Yeah,
But he's not in here.
No, he's a fucking warrior. He's actually a good character as opposed to that thing. So the Avengers are there, but these guys are here to help the Hulk, right? So Ares, he's like, fuck you guys, I'm going in. He's charging, right? And so these guys are going to fight the Avengers, but he's stopped by She-Hulk because she's cousins with the Hulk. So she wants to talk him down, and there's this guy's name is Doc Samson. He's a therapist. He's been in the Hulk comics. He's friends with the Hulk a little bit. So She-Hulk goes first, and she's like, some mess, huh? Like, let me help. And they're like, fuck you, bitch. Like, you can't...
Fuck you, bitch.
That's what they say. That's what he says basically right here. She says, I'm not talking to him, but to you, bug. And The Hulk tells her to just like walk away. And she says, like, hey, if everything you say is true, if Iron Man and those guys are responsible, like, let's hold a trial. Let's hold them responsible. He's like, no, walk away now. And she says, I can't. He's like, then stop talking. Basically, shut the fuck up and start fighting. And these guys are getting ready. And she's like, well, if we don't throw the first punch, she's kind of telling these guys, like, don't start the fight. Like, if we can avoid this, let's avoid it. Some ad. But Hulk just goes in and takes a swing at her. So she punches him. She-Hulk is fucking strong. She's powerful, right? But she's not as strong as Hulk, and especially she's not as strong as him as he is at this moment. So she punches him, but...
Look at the difference in biceps.
Yeah. Grabs her hand, and so Ares just yells for them to attack, and he just smashes her down there. And...
What? Okay, I may have missed this, but what is this...
It's just kind of a
this armor that he got from when he was at that world.
Yeah, because it's like these guys are all in kind of gladiatorial armor kind of stuff.
Okay, so it just helps him.
Yeah, it's just and it just looks cool. Yeah.
Because that's his punching arm.
Yeah, it's probably a statement too. You know, like look how cool my metal arm is.
I am a sucker for spikes.
Yeah, you are. So Ares comes in, swings with his axe. Hulk dodges. He beats him down. You know, he's like, "You trying to run?" He's like, "No, never." Hulk's not fucking afraid.
Fuck no.
Yeah. So big fight scene. This is what we call a splash page.
Okay.
A double splash page, where it's like 2 pages making 1 image,
showing a bunch of different kinds of fights.
Yeah.
Happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Look at those abs.
Yeah. Some great abs. Not much. People are just like pairing off, fighting each other. Spider-Man's in there. They took the opportunity to draw his ass right there. Korg is fighting Wonder Man. Captain Marvel's fighting
Wonder Man.
Yeah, he'll show up in live action at some point. Spider-Woman fighting this meek
There's
bug.
a Spider-Woman?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah. Jessica Drew is her name.
Huh. That's a new one for me.
Mm-hmm. Luke Cage's fighting. Hulk, just more fights. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, rib shot.
So he hits him with something here, right? And he goes flying. And they're talking. Often in these fights, there's just so much dialogue going on. I'm actually surprised there wasn't more here.
Do people really talk that much while they're fighting?
No. And this is kind of toned down as opposed to some like earlier comics. Like you'd have like a guy jumping out of a tree attacking someone, right? And it's like 1 splash page. And like there's just little like word balloons everywhere where he's in the sky. And like, what the fuck is going on here?
Nobody's going to have a conversation while they're fighting.
No.
It's more of just grunts.
Yeah. So while that's going on, you got some people, you got the Fantastic Four, right? And again...
Is this Elastic Man?
No.
That shows my ignorance.
Yeah.
Is there a Plastic Man?
Yeah. In DC.
So in Marvel, what's this guy called?
Mr. Fantastic.
Fantastic. Okay.
Mr. Fantastic. You got Mr. Fantastic, Human Torch, you got the Thing, and Invisible Woman, plus you have Storm and Black Panther. Black Panther's down here, right? So at this point, the Fantastic Four is usually like these 4 same characters, but they've had a rotating cast. She-Hulk was part of the Fantastic Four once. One time, all the Fantastic Four were gone, and the Fantastic Four was Wolverine, Hulk, Ghost Rider, and Spider-Man. That was a cool version of Fantastic Four.
What?
Yeah. That only lasted for a few issues.
That sounds interesting.
But for some reason, I think at this point, Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman, they left. And Storm and Black Panther, they were married in the comics. And so they joined the Fantastic Four. So that was kind of a cool thing. Oh. So they're all working on some device to help stop the Hulk in another part of the town. So they're working on it, and there's more working, more words talking about whatever's going on. More words, more talking, more oh Sue. You know, they're watching like
Who's Sue?
Sue is the invisible woman. Sorry.
She's very visible though.
Well, she's not invisible all the time. Thank God. I hate you.
I can see her.
So in the background, you see like these guys jumping in the air, and they're like, "Uh-oh, the fight's coming to us, so we better get ready." So here comes Hulk. Oh boy, they must have really just put the beat down on the Avengers, right? Mm-hmm. So Storm, she's fucking powerful. You know, she can command the weather. She's an Omega level mutant. You know, she's extremely powerful. She rustles up some wind and hurricanes, trying to stop them, but that's not going to stop them here.
Not the Hulk.
No. These guys jump down and they start, again, pairing off with the war-bound people that are with the Hulk, right? And they start fighting. So, Human Torch, he is also extremely powerful. Like, he's usually just a guy on fire, but when he lets loose that fire, it's extremely dangerous.
Now, is it like lava type heat?
No.
Or is it like sun type heat?
I think it's more sun. That's a great question. I don't know.
Because sun is way hotter than lava.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's an example. So he just like starts shooting down, and she is amplifying it with like lightning right there. And it's just going down on the Hulk, raining down on him, you would say. And look what it does to like the neighborhood or wherever they're at.
Which he's just like, dude, this is not, I'm just going to get better.
Yeah.
Bigger and better.
It just tickles. Tickles my pickle. So more of just like the intensity of like, you know, showing how big it is compared to these buildings. Some of these other guys are knocked away by it. The invisible woman, she can create these force fields. She's trying to like protect her and others, taking refuge. Then they look up. They look down after it's all done, and Hulk is just standing in it and the Human Torch is like spent. You know? So like, fuck, like all that, it didn't even hurt him. So the Thing, he jumps down, right? And they're like, wait, and this guy, Korg, he's like, no, don't jump down there. Like, you've already lost. What are you doing? He's like, yeah, well, don't tell me that. So, historically, the Thing and the Hulk have had a grudge against each other. You know? The Thing is fucking strong. He's extremely, like, strong.
They have a grudge against each other?
Yeah, like, they don't like, they've had fights.
Why is that?
Well, just because the Hulk and they just match up.
Because they're like both like alpha males.
Well, when Hulk was originally come around, like, you know, he was just the monster, you know, and like the Fantastic Four would have to like try and fight him, and like the strong guy would go against the strong guy. So
now
they've had
the Thing, isn't he made of rock?
Yeah.
So wouldn't the Hulk be able to just punch right through him?
Well, I mean,
just break him.
It's sure, and I'm sure he has, but I wouldn't be able to tell you what his physiology is specifically. It has been established Hulk is stronger between the two of them.
Well, that goes without saying.
Yeah. But like the Thing isn't going to back down, right? And he says his famous catchphrase, "It's clobbering time." Punches him in the face, and he just kind of shrugs it off.
Catchphrase.
Yeah. And he's like, okay then, fine. And they keep going. They keep fighting. You know, Thing is no slouch. He's going to take it to him. And so this is some kind of cool stuff. All the others are watching this happen. And this one warbound guy, he's kind of like a spiritual dude. And as he's watching, he just says, "May he who dies die well," as he's about to like, boy, how many are you? You got a little gassy in there.
Yeah.
holding,
I blew it away from you.
Holding in those burps. Hulk's about ready to pound down on him.
Wow, look at the ribs.
Yeah.
I like the anatomy here.
But then he sees a light behind him, right?
Huh?
Yeah, big old question mark. And someone comes and says, like, hello, Hulk. So it's been established. I think I was telling you last time, if you remember. I'm going to pull out the first issue. There's this character called the Sentry.
I remember that character.
He's extreme. He's like, they say he has the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns.
That's a lot of power.
He's somewhere around here. Where the fuck is he? Anyways, he's on
That
the...
sounds like he would kick Thanos' ass.
Maybe. Yeah. It's hard to say. The versions of Thanos in comics and movies are also different, too.
Of course, yeah. I only know Thanos from the movies.
Yeah. But Sentry is probably on par with, like, Superman, you know, who can, like, move, like, push planets out of the way and is extremely fast and just invulnerable.
I always thought that probably the best person to go against Hulk is probably Superman.
Yeah, and they fought also. That's a whole nother thing. Let's not get into it. Jesus.
Okay, fine.
But Sentry is a new character, but they've established that he's been around since like the beginning of the Marvel universe, right? So when Hulk was just a mindless brute, they kind of established that these two were buddies back in the day, but everyone forgot about the Sentry. That's why like no one knew about him until recently. So they think like Sentry's coming in to like calm him down. Like, because they don't want the Sentry to fight him. Like, that's going to be too much of a fight, right?
That would cause chaos.
Yeah. But, like, if they're friends, and he could, like, convince him not to do this, then that would be better, right? So that happens. Like, the light shines down, the Sentry is coming in. And
Heaven, let your light shine.
Yeah. So he's extending his hand to the Hulk, and he takes it, and they're like, good, it's over. But he crushes the hand. And it wasn't the Sentry at all. It was Mr. Fantastic. That's what they were working on. Like, that's the device they were working on before they showed up. To, like, mimic the guy's powers to make him think.
It was like a bait and switch?
Yeah, yeah. It was like if they could just get him to calm down and think rationally, they may be able to end all this. But it doesn't matter. He's too angry. So he crushes, like, the device, and he starts punching at him, and the Invisible Woman with her invisible force fields, you can kind of see, like, these weird dotted lines. And,
oh, so that means that she's invisible?
Yeah. Well, no, they can see her, but she has, like, this invisible force field to stop him from punching. Like, he's punching, and it's, like, something's stopping it.
Yeah.
So, and she's trying to tell him to stop, and he says to her, if I set a bomb, killed your husband and your children, your whole world... He's like, would you ever stop? You know, he's got a point.
Yeah, he's got a reason to be angry.
But, I mean, he's also, like, no one knows what happened. Like, these guys wouldn't put a bomb in there. Like, why? We're still, like, there's still a mystery. Like, why did that happen in the first place? So they're kind of trying to still talk him down. You're like, you're not a monster. You know, she's trying to convince him. You're like, you're not a monster. Don't do this. And he's like, yeah, I know I'm not a monster, but he is. Mr. Fantastic. Like, he sent us, he did this to our world. So he's calling Mr. Fantastic and those guys the monster. So he starts beating on him, and he's stretching all over the place. He's all elastic.
Okay, so that's all Mr. Fantastic. Right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. And there's more of that, right? Just constant, like, beating down on his elasticity. But eventually...
Thackadoom.
Yeah. Thackadoom.
Thackadoom.
Yeah. It's called that's a sound effect. It's called an onomatopoeia.
That's like a poem.
Yeah. So, beat the fuck out of him. And then Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, she's like all her, you know, she's exhausted. She's done for. And she's communicating. She says, Bob, it's Sue, and Bob is the name of the Sentry. And he's sitting here waiting. Right? And she's like, we failed. We tried to do it without you. Reed synthesized the energies, tried to calm the Hulk down, but it didn't work. We need the real you. We need the hero. Right? he has a weird, it's hard for me to explain, but he has like a dual personality thing. He has like a darkness inside him. Like this is his heroic side, but he has something that's called the void that if that lets loose, that's even more powerful than anything else. And that could probably destroy the entire world too.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
He got
So
this other side to him.
so that's part of the reason he doesn't want to get involved. He doesn't want that to get out for whatever reason. So I think whether they explain it here or later, I'm just going to give it away. He's trying not to get involved because he's like, if I give in for even a minute, like I would have to give everything I have to fight the Hulk to stop him. And if I do that, I might unleash this thing. So he doesn't want to be involved. Plus he's like schizophrenic.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah. So the battles are done. There's a lot of people on Earth who are like on the Hulk's side. So they're like cheering for them. And this guy, his name is Rick Jones. This is the Hulk's friend. Like his like one friend from the very beginning. The Hulk turned into the Hulk because Bruce Banner pushed him out of the way of like this exploding bomb. And that's what he got caught in the bomb and got turned into the Hulk. So he's been there from like issue 1 of whatever the Hulk came from, right? Okay. So he's around and he's going to try to like help talk to him. Like, hey, maybe I can calm him down, get him to not be so monstrous. But the Hulk has just beat up the Avengers and the Fantastic Four. That's like you're done. The X-Men are not involved in this storyline, but there was a side story where the Hulk did go confront them because Professor Xavier from the X-Men were allied with the four who did this. They're part of a thing called the Illuminati. Professor Xavier wasn't part of it, but he had to go and talk to the X-Men, and he fought the X-Men and everything. That was a whole separate thing. That was called World War Hulk X-Men. Huh. So... yeah, Rick, he goes up to the Hulk, they talk, and, this meek, he's talking to Rick Jones here, and they're like, who sent you? No one. And he's like, okay, but you remember, like, you're supposed to help the puny humans. They ask, who sent you? Captain America? Did Captain America send you? But he tells him Captain America is dead. At this point in the Marvel Universe, Captain America had died. He got assassinated after the Civil War. Huh. And Hulk everyone respects Captain America, even the Hulk, and that kind of stops him. Like, wait, what? That sucks. He's like, a lot's been happened since you've been away. Tony and others, like Iron Man and Mr. Fantastic, they kind of screwed things up. And it's like, we need help. We need like a hero to help put things back, but not like this. Like, don't do it like this. So Hulk kind of calms down. And it goes back to Doctor Strange. Like, it cuts to him. And he says, there. Because if you remember at the beginning, Doctor Strange is like getting ready to do something. And he says, my spell will only work if he lets me in. And he hates it so much. He's full of rage. I can't get in. But if he calms down just a minute, like, he can get in to do a spell.
Interesting.
And so he's like there, an opening. So he does the spell and kind of fucks with his head right there. He says the magician's attacking the Hulk, and this guy, he has some magical power, so he wants to help. And Hulk kind of yells, "Get out of my head!" And he jumps off. He just jumps out of there, leaves everybody. And he jumps and he lands in the ocean somewhere else. And it goes back to Doctor Strange. And it says, what happened? For the enchantment to work, he must open the door. But he's so angry, and everything he sees just makes him angrier. So here's some guys. This is Hercules. This is Angel from X-Men. They're part of a group called the Defenders. They were allied with him at some point. And I think, in a separate comic book, they have a little confrontation with him. That has nothing to do with anything right here. I can't even tell what's going on there. Maybe he's fighting these guys I was talking about. But you got these like human soldiers. Like, these are SHIELD agents. Shield was in the Avengers movies, and they're watching everything. And he's talking to somebody over an intercom, and whoever he's talking to, they're like, "Get your team out of there!" And like, there's civilians down there. But the guy says, like, "Forget about it. Just get out of there." He's like, "Those costume clowns have had their chance." Now this guy,
he looks familiar.
yes,
Hulk's girlfriend's dad.
yeah. Yes, General Thunderbolt Ross is his name. He was in all the Avengers movies. Like
Sam Elliott played him in.
Yeah, Sam Elliott played him.
In part 2.
Yeah. No, in the very first one.
Was it?
Yeah, with Eric Bana. Yes, 100%. Trust me.
Oh, because there was another actor that played the second one.
The guy who played him in the second one with Edward Norton was called William Hurt. He was also in Civil War. He was in Infinity War, and he was in Endgame for a brief moment.
That's right. Sam Elliott was in the first movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
That actor has died, but he's been replaced by Harrison Ford, and Harrison Ford is playing this guy in an upcoming movie. But anyways, so yeah, he's the general in charge of the army, and he's like was always in trying to take the Hulk down. So now he's got the army, and he's going to come in, and he's going to take down. He's going to try his turn. So that's where this issue ends. So it says to be continued.
Okay.
So that's the end of the issue.
And the Edward Norton one is where he created that. What was his name? That other Hulk-like
the Abomination.
The Abomination.
Yeah. Yeah. So here, like, often, so this event is called World War Hulk. So usually, I don't know if they still do it because I haven't really been reading comics lately. But when Marvel used to do like these big events, they'd have the main title, like with 5 issues, 2 of 5, but then they'd have like offshoot titles, right? So this is where I was talking about like the World War X-Men, so you got Wolverine fighting Hulk there. Ghost Rider was part of it. Iron Man, Ant-Man in the actual Incredible Hulk. So there's like this whole checklist of all these other titles you could read that would tie into this book. But you don't need to read all these just to know this basic story.
So they're just kind of like tangents.
Yeah. So that's issue number 2. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
So then it has the cover for the next issue. You see the Hulk fighting the army. So there you go. World War Hulk, number 2 of 5. Yep. Cool stuff. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. What do you think about Cody and his naivete of comics?
Yeah, I'm so
juvenile. Yes. So hit that like button because you should like this video.
Smash that like button.
No, just hit it.
Smash it.
Gently touch
Hulk
it.
Smash.
No. Hulk gently tap. Because I don't want you to break your phone or computer or tablet or anything.
Yeah, don't break your phone.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. And as always, I will see you in the next video.